Festivities with our traditional entrance of colors.
Lupang hinirang.
Please rise, sir.
Maraming salamat, Monching. Mr. Cesar Manuel, FAMAS President for 2019 and 2021. Belated happy birthday, Cesar. Hindi niyo po maitatanong, before I met Cesar, after every consular outreach, we would always visit Pansitan. So, and then someone told me the owner is with FAMAS, and eventually I got to meet him. So, thank you for always hosting us, Cesar. Councilor Marvin Rotrand, whom I met only tonight, but sitting beside Marvin makes you feel like you've known him since 1982. So, I'm not wondering why he's a good friend of the Filipino community here in Montreal. Councilor Lionel Perez, other officials of the Filipino Association of Montreal and Suburbs, or FAMAS, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Bonsoir à tous. On behalf of Ambassador Petronila Garcia and all the officers and staff of the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa, I wish to congratulate the new officers of FAMAS. I understand that tonight marks the first event that you have organized following the elections held last summer. At present, there are around 10 million Filipinos living outside of the Philippines, and almost 1 million of them may be found here in Canada. The last count was 936,000. That was in 2016. So I wouldn't be surprised if it would be around 1 million by this year. And as Marvin accurately told me, because he saw the map of the distribution of Filipinos in the ambassador's office, there are around 35,000 Filipinos here in Quebec, and most of you are based here in Montreal. And wherever they go, Filipinos are known to easily adapt to their surroundings. You are known all over the world as friendly, honest, and hardworking. And one contributing factor to your success is, of course, your sense of service. This was mentioned earlier during the prayer. Service and community, as well as your ability to organize yourselves in order to achieve your goals. Filipino communities abroad are in a unique position to support each other through the challenges of moving to a new country. This is something that FAMAS, as the oldest Filipino organization in Quebec, it's almost as old as me, has had the unique opportunity to do for more than 5 decades. This evening's theme of United We Change is an apt reminder as the Filipino community in Quebec and the rest of Canada continues to grow. Your community can only grow stronger as you work together. We at the Philippine Embassy in Canada are always happy to work with FAMAS, and we look forward to all of your projects. Remember that the warmth of the Philippines is always there for you, former Filipinos, dual citizens, and all our Canadian friends. So I wish you all a very successful event. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po kayong lahat. Tayong lahat. Maraming salamat.
Every year we make sure that you get funding for your events, to make sure that you get access to our installations, to our buildings, and to our parks. And this commitment, this collaboration, has been one that's been going on for many years. And we saw incredible fruition over the last year and a half. The Borough of Côte-des-Neiges was the first place where we said we should recognize Filipino Heritage Month, something that has occurred with tremendous success now for 2 years, and where we've inspired our colleague Anthony Hosfather. He went to Parliament in Ottawa to get that recognition. And we have also been able to ensure that we have a special place near Mackenzie King Park. A place that to recognize the incredible commitment, the incredible history of Plus Jose Rizal. It is a testament that at Mackenzie King Park that was recognized, yes, absolutely, that recognized the special home that it has for the Filipino community, having so many events, being in this suburb, or rather the borough that has the greatest concentration of members of the Filipino community. So, to conclude, congratulations to everyone again, and I will say that you can continue counting on my support as leader of the opposition, also Montreal, but also as your city councillor in the Darlington district. Thank you very much. Mabuhay.
Bonsoir, good evening everybody. Lionel and I have a rivalry, you see. Whoever speaks first at events usually tries to take up as much space as possible. And usually it's me, and he's always complaining he has to figure out something that hasn't been said. But fortunately, I have a completely different speech. I have exactly 3 things I want to say tonight. I think they're all important. Number 1, the theme of this evening is bringing people together. The executive board of FAMAS wants to appreciate the many volunteers, but also wants to send a message to the Filipino community in Montreal. Too much division, there is strength in unity. People should work together despite their differences for the good of the community. That's the message for tonight. I think it's an excellent message, and everybody should take it up. Let's put aside problems and disputes from the past, and let's move forward. The current executive board, when got elected, said they wanted to take a longer-term perspective, not 2 years, one election to another. They want to take a longer-term perspective to build new institutions for the Filipino community, because the community is putting roots down here. We have now nearly 40,000 Filipinos who live in Quebec, and I know that because your Consul General, Alan Benega, told me that the community is growing, and he's proud of the fact that it's growing here. Let us put down roots, and let us create a situation where the next generation can do better, and that those among the elderly and all the groups that represent Filipinos from every part of the country have access through FAMAS to services they didn't have before. Now that's something that's laudable. That's number 1. Number 2, this morning at 9 a.m., I inducted in the presence of Cesar Manuel, the new board of directors for the Filipino Basketball Association of Montreal. That's what I do on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. I induct boards. There's 2 messages here. The Filipino community, at the beginning of this event, we called up all the board members. This is the only community in our district, in our neighborhood, that is able to have so many people come forward to volunteer. And they even have contested elections to see who is going to be the volunteer who's going to work full-time without pay for the community. I think that's a wonderful thing. Caesar was there at 9 o'clock in the morning. This guy's got a full-time job, by the way. Being president of FAMAS might seem like a full-time job, but he also has to earn a living for his family. Yet he was there to represent FAMAS. I thought that was very good. But I saw in the room 200 children between the age of 5 and about 20, young people and children who are playing basketball. And most of those kids were born in Canada, weren't born in the Philippines. And here was my message. And the message wasn't only for them, it was for you as well. The message is those kids should be proud of being Canadians, because we have a wonderful country with opportunity for everybody. But they shouldn't forget they're Filipinos either, because they should be proud of their heritage. Those kids spoke perfect English, and almost every one of them spoke perfect French as well. And I told them that in Quebec it's important to speak French because the majority of people speak French. But I told them something else. Don't forget your parents' and grandparents' heritage. Don't forget your language of origin, whether it's Tagalog or Cebuano or Bicolano or whatever. Don't forget it. And the kids actually listen. But now I turn to you. because it's not only on them the obligation to maintain their heritage. Cultural transmission comes from the generation above. The parents and the grandparents, you have an obligation. As those kids become comfortable living here in Canada and identify as Canadians, you have an obligation to make sure they don't forget they're Filipinos as well. Number 3, I wish everything was wonderful all the time in Quebec, but it isn't. We have struggles here which affect all of us as minorities, whether we're English-speaking minorities or visible minorities or ethnic minorities. We have a law that has been adopted that discriminates openly on the basis of the religious symbols that are integral to many of the groups that live here in Quebec, that tell people who might be the best candidates, talented candidates, whether they're Sikh or Jewish or Muslim or Christians wearing a crucifix of all things, they can't work in government. It's completely wrong. But it's more than that. We also learned recently that in Montreal, there is discrimination when the police stop people on the street based on the color of their skin or their ethnic origin. It's completely wrong. We're proud of this country because we're all equal and we deserve to be treated equally. I mention these things because I want to recognize the leadership role of FAMAS. FAMAS has joined in fighting a lot of causes. FAMAS is an integral part of the coalition of groups that is fighting for a moratorium on random street checks based on ethnicity. FAMAS is involved in a series of struggles and is bringing the community with it. And I think that's right. You are Canadians just like anybody else. Don't let anybody ever tell you differently because you're an immigrant, you have fewer rights. You don't. You have the same rights as everybody else here, and your leadership is going to take that message to the politicians at all levels and demand equal access and equal treatment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the lovely invitation tonight. I really appreciate it. Have a nice evening.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ako po'y nagpapasalamat sa inyong pagdalo at pagsuporta sa araw na ito upang matunghayan po natin at ipakita po na tayong sambayanang Pilipino dito sa Montreal ay isang buong community. Kaya maraming pong salamat. Bagamat may mga ilang pong naliligaw at tumutulong sa atin, kinakailangan po natin pagbigyan sila. Dinggin po natin ang mga kanilang mga adhikain at siguro naman ay magiging aral sa atin. Maaring yung mga naliligaw na landas na yun na nga, tumutulonggis, na hindi natin alam kung sa kabila sila o sa kanan. Kaya maraming po salamat sa inyong pagdalo. At makakaasa po kayo na lahat po tayo ay magiging masaya. At hindi rin po kayo mawawalan at hindi rin po kayo magkakaroon. Maraming po salamat.